Hi, so grateful for you tuning in. So today we are going to talk about normalizing the new you by releasing your doppelganger so that we can attract, that we can manifest and call in more, call in bigger for ourselves. So this is a practice, a technique, an embodiment practice which I use every time. Like every time I am standing between my outgrown version and I'm entering a new era of my life. I'm entering a new version of my life because this is so helpful on so many ways actually. So this is in regards to if I am about to call in a certain new type of internal growth. I want to maybe call in certain type of new beliefs, habits. It can be in regards to a project, it can be in regards to a job, it can be in regards to an apartment. It doesn't really matter. So when I'm manifesting and changing and want something else, want something different than from before, when I feel that where I'm now and my state feels a little limited and I want to expand into a new version, I'm using this technique and I use it as much as possible. I repeat it, I repeat it, I repeat it. So I'm very soon going to talk about what it does mean to me and how you can use it. But first and foremost, some of the benefits for doing this is that it creates a certain type of vibrational shift because we start to normalize what is belongs to our expansive and belongs to our like better version, so to say, the version that we feel more resonant with than the outgrown version. Is also so much more fun. And I truly believe that we can do our internal growth much more fun, much easier than we have had from before. And that is the way forward. Like, why can I have fun? Why can I have fun? Meanwhile, I'm evolving and growing and expanding as a person. This automatically actually decondition certain type of conditioning that we have because we start to normalize another type of day or another type of everyday life, so to say. And because of that, we start to assume and we start to expect other things coming in our way as well. So this is great in so many different ways, but it truly shifts your energy and shifts your vibration so that you can match and align to the desired reality that you want. So I use this technique for manifesting a new apartment. I have used this technique for when I needed to expand my beliefs because I had a bunch of limiting beliefs that held me back from really attracting and being the person that I wanted to be. I have used this one for attracting my soul partner. I've used this for so many different ways, and you can also use it too. So essentially what normalizing does mean to me is that think about it yourself in the way that, okay, if you have yourself as it is right now, certain things, certain patterns, certain behaviors, when going through our spiritual journey, we start to realize that, wow, I actually normalized to neglect myself. I actually made it so okay with not creating space for myself or living in a pace which doesn't help me and isn't suiting for me, living in a very fast pace or when I'm just on autopilot or whatever it might be. I have normalized and make it so normal so it almost feels okay that I'm doing it. The same way that we have normalized these patterns, we need to normalize the new patterns which we want to create. Right? So this is why it's so effective, because this is what you already been doing all the time. This is what you've already been doing since little. Okay, it's normalized that we talk in a certain way with people, that we keep relationships in a certain way, or that we keep the relationship with ourselves in a certain way, right? So in different parts and different areas of our lives, we have already done this. So we know the technique in our core. That's why it's so efficient, because we know this technique. We know this technique in our core. So I'm going to give you a certain type of example how we can do this. Many times when I talk with people around that they feel a little bit fake in making some certain type of changes. They maybe feel a little bit fake in being so positive all the time, or they maybe feel a little bit fake when they are about to apply positive thoughts. And the thing is that many times I noticed that they actually don't feel fake. They are actually more afraid of that others will think they feel fake, or that sound fake. That's just a little bit side note, but anyhow, there's a huge part of it as well. But what I noticed and realized is that they have normalized so much to approach themselves, and this is something which I done a lot myself, that's why I know it, to talk about, about self and criticize self in a way that has become a habit, that has become something that is normal, that is okay to do, that is a little bit helpful. I used to say to myself that, it's one of my strengths that I'm self-critic, like I'm critical of myself, because then I actually pay attention to details, I pay attention to what I don't do good. Why do you need to criticize yourself? Okay, you can give yourself constructive feedback. What is that actually what you do? Most of the time, what is it that you do? And most of the time, I noticed that I actually criticized myself and internalized this critique towards myself much more than it actually was constructive. So it was so normal for me to do that. So I didn't even pay attention to it. I thought that I was constructive. So now when you understand how we have been like making things very normal to us, when we make things normal to us, we start to feel that that is normal. We start to feel that that is okay, right? As I said from before, because many times it had happened repeatedly. So repeating, we repeat a certain behavior, a certain attitude, a certain like way how we let people treat us, and in a way that we let us treat ourselves, so to say. So this is something that we have done over and over and over again. So it's almost as, if someone says something mean to you, and then they say something mean to you again and again and again, every time that happens, you will get a little bit more like, okay, I will just take it, I will just take it. That is just how we function. That is just how we protect ourselves. So that's why we're also normalizing things that is actually according to our authenticity and according to how we truly, from our soul, want to live life. So that is kind of the foundation and kind of the core from it. But what I noticed is that when I started, at that point when I started to realize how I need to renormalize what is normal to me, so to say, that was, that this type of more so negative spiraling and negative patterns and unhealthy habits and stuff like that. But the more that I expanded and the more that I let go of that, I realized that this is so helpful every time. This is so helpful every time when I'm feeling that now I'm in between a certain type of version. I need to release and let go of this kind of double ganger. I need to release, let go of this outgrown version of me, so that I can truly and fully emerge into the next version of me. I will give you an example. So when I was, this is quite fun to give this example. It's a little bit embarrassing because I still had many limiting beliefs, and you will understand why I had limiting beliefs. So if I would manifest the exact same thing today, I wouldn't have those limiting beliefs. But I can sit here and 5 years later I will say that, okay, I wouldn't have those limiting beliefs that this Linnea is experiencing, because we're always evolving and we're always growing, and we always at some point have limiting beliefs. So there's nothing bad with it. It's just that what is more helpful or not. So when I lived by myself, I lived in a single household. I have had for like 10 years plus or so lived in a one-room apartment. And all those one-room apartments, those of you that have been or live in one of those, you know that it can be difficult to get sleep, because the refrigerators, they sound like, I don't know, elephants or something. So the last apartment that I lived in had this really elephant sound, like so loud sound, and I had really difficulties with sleeping at that time. So I waking up every single night because this refrigerators start to make a sound, and my head is like literally 10 meters away or whatever, you know. That period, I started to play around a little bit with what was my limiting beliefs, what is my expansive beliefs, and so forth. And I realized that, or I was in a moment where I was like, okay, should I find a new apartment? And that apartment was really expensive, but it was in a neighborhood that I loved and I really enjoyed it and everything. So it was like a lot of back and forth with it. And in Stockholm, the apartments is really expensive, especially if you are renting and can't, you know, buy an apartment. So anyhow, so at that point, I couldn't really buy an apartment. So first I was like, okay, I just have to settle. I just have to, in one way or another, find a way, like, how can I receive money in a way, or how can I played around, you know, with my beliefs of like, where is my beliefs at? And after a while I realized that, wait a minute, why can't I, where I am right here right now, without receiving anything new, without having anything new that I don't have today, from this state and from the resources that I have today, can I get something else? So fast forwarding, I realized I can't pay more, but I need a 2-room apartment. That is the thing. I want to be in a like calm and a foresty area as I was in right now, so I didn't want to lower my standards, but I also wanted it a little bit cheaper. This is so fun because I was like, okay, I don't even know if I can get it cheaper, and then I was like, well, I mean, I just have to believe in that. Okay, I have to believe in that I can actually find something that is cheaper. So my beliefs were a little bit limiting still, because I was like, at least it can be a little bit cheaper. I could have gone much more than that, you know. It can be a lot cheaper, it can be, you know. But I wasn't at that time where I have those beliefs. So anyhow, so when that, at that point when that happened, I started to really sink into that it is normal for me to live in 2-room apartments. It's normal for me to receive help, receive support, find different sites where I can find these rentals. I just like normalize the thing, like in everything, like how normal it was for me to have bigger, to live bigger, because I also have these limiting beliefs of that, well, why should I live bigger? I'm just one person. Why do I need a 2-room apartment? It was a lot of those kind of lack and poverty and not me, and, you know, minimizing energies that I carry around with at that time. So I went through a lot of, you know, internal battles in regards to that. But I was at the same time at a state where I was like, no, I have to go towards this. No. I have to expand my beliefs. I have to believe in a more expansive me, and that I actually, as everybody else, get to have more. I actually get to have a 2-room apartment. I actually get to be able to sleep in the evenings and not hearing a refrigerator all the time. So I really like normalized everything around it. I normalized, so I thought around, okay, in what different ways can I get some certain type of support? So I normalized that, oh, it's easy for me to just find rentals. It's easy for me to find networks in regards to that, so I can find that. It's easy for me to receive support in other ways. The people are just like, hey, you know, I have a tip or whatever. When I like call in more in my life, I can't really have the restricted. We are a little bit different as people here, so you have to tap into yourself. But for me, it's easier if I throw out a little bit different ones and let's see what the universe says, like, here you have it, you know. I can't really say like this and this and this and this should happen, so I get this. That restricts me in many types of way. That's just how I feel. Anyhow, so 2 days later, 2 days later, okay, so I have already started to, a couple of weeks before, you know, having these thoughts around my limiting beliefs and my expansion and stuff like that. But 2 days later, when I got that idea, like, hey, why can't I move? Why can't I have the same standard, almost the same nature around me, the same calm neighborhood, everything like that, with a lower rent and a bigger apartment? Why can't I have that? 2 days after, when I truly normalized that, I found an apartment. Why I'm telling you this story is because this is the way, this is just one example how I have normalized. So let's say that you're going for a date, or like you want to start to meet people or whatever, you know, then you can just normalize that. You normalize bumping into people that have fun conversations with you at your local market store. You normalize that people are smiling at you at the street. You're normalizing that you go to fun dates, like all dates are fun. No matter what happens after, they are fun, they are great. All the people that you meet, they are great people. And that I have done as well, you know, when I needed to change what type of people that I spend time with. So as I said from before, I think that you noticed that I'm truly, you know, excited when I'm talking about this as well, because that is the thing, it is so fun. And I noticed that the more fun you make your internal growth, the more fun you make the connection with your spirituality and your practices, and also not only like more so spirituality, like everything is spiritual, but in case of the more materialized ways that you want to attract into your life, such an apartment, such a partner, a job opportunity, or whatever it might be, right? All of those parts, the more fun you do it, the easier it gets, the quicker you will get it, and the more fun you have on the way. And this is something that I have become quite much better at, and I'm still practicing it. I'm still letting myself know that, hey, you know what, you can actually make this fun. You can do this internal growth, internal work. You can do this, but you can do it so much more fun. And because of I'm doing that so much more fun, I'm also finding these different type of techniques that works a lot for me, and it works a lot for those people that I have given this advice to as well. So it really shifts your vibration, and that is one of the essential parts in becoming the new you, in emerging and aligning to a new version of yourself. The vibration is number one in all of those scenarios. And that's why this practice works so well, because it truly shifts your vibration and make you tweak and shift into beliefs that are more expansive, habits that is more helpful for you, and so forth. I will sum up this conversation for today. I will give you a little bit short practice, and I will also let you know that this is to normalize the new you, normalize the new self, is something which I go much more in depth in my coaching. So I do that in the aligned self version. So I have different type of coaching stages, different type of awareness levels or consciousness levels, you can call it. And that is in one of the aligned self consciousness, which I go so much more in depth in regards to when it comes to normalize your life, normalize the new life of you. So that is number one. So you have the information in the description if you want to check that out. So you can book a discovery call with me. The second one is that I want you for today, ask yourself, what is normal to me today? What is normal to me today that I actually feel that it isn't so vibrational? I actually feel that this isn't so, it doesn't give me so much. I don't feel so energetic when I do this, or when I behave in this way, or when I think in this way. And then ask yourself, is there a way that I have normalized this, and this is only because of that I continue to do this? That is first two ones to get that type of awareness. The third question, in order for you to also make that change, make that shift, is to say that, okay, what is it that I get to have now? What is it that I get to be now? What is it that I get to normalize in order for me to become this new version, or in order for me to tap into this new version of myself? Because that's essentially what you do, you tap into yourself. I'm a new version all the time, right? We are tapping into different versions. So yeah, I think that was all for today. I hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, also liking if you like this type of topics. And yeah, keep on listening to your Within Talks. See you next time.